Yes Podcast, also known as Yes, a Stripper Podcast, is a sex worker community podcast where our guests tell their stories and share their expertise in all areas of life. With our hosts, Onyx Sachi, Daisy Ducati, Gigi Holiday, and AM Davies, we've collectively recorded close to 140 episodes with sex workers from all over the world. Learn more at yaspodcast.com. That's yaspodcast.com.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Stripped by Sia, your podcast for strippers, sex workers, and all the fancy naked people in between. I am your host, Sia on camera. I'm an online adult creator found on many various adult paid subscription platforms. You can find me on Sex Panther OnlyFans. You can find me on Streamate, some other places I will be launching pretty soon, which is exciting. Before that, I was a sugar baby over a decade ago. And most recently, I think I am retired now from dancing. I think I'm going to hang up those pleasers. So you probably cannot find me anymore in person in Vancouver, where I've predominantly danced for the last 6 years. But yeah, like this show is all about destigmatizing sex work. I do that by bringing different guests onto the show every single week to talk about their corner of expertise in the industry and their experiences, their stories. I think it really does a really fine job in terms of illustrating sex worker experiences, real sex worker experiences, and not stuff that you just see in media or movies and stuff like that. So I think it's really important for us to tell the real authentic stories of sex workers, what our realities are, what our challenges are, all of our triumphs. I think I do a decent job of trying to educate people with sex work and bringing a diverse amount of guests onto the show every single week. So whether they are cam models like our lovely guest today, they're some porn star, they're a person behind the scenes, a producer, someone that works for a nonprofit organization advocating for sex worker rights. There's a really diverse amount of folks that have come on the show to share their truth and also, again, to help humanize sex worker experience and, hopefully destigmatize the industry. So that's just a little bit about the show, just in case you're new here. I wanted to talk to everyone about disability and sex work today with our esteemed guest, Minnie St, who will be joining us in just a couple minutes once I get through all these intros. So if you wanted, you could go ahead and skip to the 5-minute mark. That's usually when we get started there. But we will be talking about, navigating disability benefits, talking about the double stigma that comes with being a sex worker and being a disabled person, and what those realities are, what those challenges are, and why sex work is such an accessible means of income and a legitimized career for so many disabled folks. This is going to be a really big, multifaceted topic. We're going to try our best to fit and cram it all in the hour or so. But before we get started into our topic of the day, I just want to say hello and thank you to our lovely Patreon subscribers. You guys have been around since season 4, which is so lovely. If you are unfamiliar what Patreon is, it's an online community where people pay a small fee. In my case, starts at as low as $4 a month to gain access to extra bonus episodes that are on there, some of my guest lectures that I've done at various universities, some of my written work and articles that are behind paywalls. There are lots of like sneak peeks on like who I'm bringing onto the show, what topics I'm trying to tackle, and basically kind of get insider scoop on the show. And basically all of your money there is going towards helping fund a portion of my website, strippedbycia.com, because as you know, everything has a cost. So I just want to say hello and thank you to those who are on the top tier, because you guys are able to get a nice little fan recognition shout out. Some of you guys have been OG since the beginning, so thank you. I just want to say hello to Snoo from Germany. We've got Ruby from Victoria, BC, Reina from Sweden, Geyser, Eric Arajo. We got B York and Dan from Red Door Products from Seattle, Washington. We've got McKenna King from Ottawa, Canada. And last but not least, we have Dale Flood from Vancouver, Canada. Thank you guys again for all of your support. I know a lot of you guys are asking if I'm going to be attending XBiz this year. I just don't know. I don't know with the political climate and like the weirdness about like, non-American folks going into America. It's a little bit unsettling. Plus the dollar is like really crazy high right now. So I don't know. We'll see. But then that's just an example of like, where a portion of your proceeds are going to. So lots of various things, adult industry events, my website, all that stuff. If you're interested, it's patreon.com/strippedbysia. Right in the 5-minute mark, right in the money there. So going back into the main topic of our episode, again, talking about disability and sex work, we have joining us today Minnie St. from Toronto, Canada. Minnie is an online cam model. She has been in the industry for over 22 years. She's going to be sharing with us her story in terms of, how she got into sex work, kind of navigating a disability and trying to find the balance between doing sex work, navigating with her disability, and talking to us about the complexities it is behind, working around disability benefits, the stigma that comes with having a disability, and so on and so forth. So without further ado, please welcome to the show, Minnie St. Hi, Minnie.
Hi. I have to breathe. I have to talk. I was holding my breath the whole 5 minutes. It's because I know you're an award-winning podcast, and
oh gosh,
it's just my brain is It's just.
Oh,
but
gosh,
at least
thank you.
I don't think I'll break out in hives this time like I did last time. So.
Oh no! Oh my gosh.
I know. I led with after I started, so it's just.
Well, hopefully that won't happen.
No, yeah, that's just. I don't know. It's just the way our work
Your body reacts.
Mm-hmm. It does. But I learned it in middle school. Like my mom put me in my graduation dress. And I sweat through it. There was so much sweat in the dress. We had to take it off. God. She had to do this little dry cleaning thing with the iron. And then she put paper towel in my armpit.
Oh my God. Well, I hope it's not bringing up some trauma.
No, but it's weird how certain ways you handle stress still keep with you. And you're talking and I'm like, totally. breathe. She's fine. She's a human being in Vancouver. It's just...
I'm completely normal. I'm just a person like you. But like, I'm very excited for you to join me today. And, we've been following each other on X, well, back when it was Twitter, way back in the day, and for like a long time now. So I'm really glad that we're finally able to connect formally here in the podcast, but not so formal because everything here is super casual. But I'm really excited to learn about you, learn about your stories, because I think you have a really big story that you want to share and tell the world. So, with that, maybe I'll just leave it with you. We'll perhaps get started with, how you got into the adult industry and how you got started with sex work. We'll start there.
So me getting started with my family computer having dial-up internet. And
oh my gosh, back in the day.
Exactly. With Net Zero, AOL. What else do we have back then? Netscape. There's now Edge, Microsoft.
Oh my God, I haven't heard
or Internet Explorer.
So
where Napster and LimeWire and
Kazaa.
clip art.
Clip art.
Yes, clip art. I love my clip art. Yes. Oh, I still use it now. So I do this thing where I make a pig with circles and little triangles for the ears. I still do it because why not? It's there's only certain things I can draw in MS Paint when I'm there. And then I made a floor plan of my apartment with it. So it's just a thing I just still have. The skill doesn't go away. Yeah. It started. So like, I'm in the demographic of we had cable TV with Blue Night videos of softcore porn. And then we just got it internet porn. So, and then I just learned, so like before I became like 15, 16, I did computer camp where it's basically a bunch of boys with computers and then just me. And we would learn software, HTML coding, different websites. I made a fan website of Ryan Gosling at one point. Then Kevin Smith from Hercules, the Legendary Stories.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah, I was a big...
90s, yeah.
So before Fan Expo was Fan Expo, I was going when it was the Star Trek something. It was a different name.
And stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that was my first convention. And around day 2, my mom was like, "You're going tomorrow?" I'm like, "Do I have to? I'm tired." I was like 13. I'm like, "What do you mean I go all 3 days?" She gave me money to go. She liked the parents that were taking me. I just had to go all the time. And then the Zena and Gabrielle panel was talking about their lesbians. And I'm like, I'm 13. I don't know what this is. I wasn't paying attention to that when I was watching the show.
Innocent.
Yeah, exactly. I was just, I just talk about the show and the story, the mythology for Greek mythology. That's it. That's all I focus on, not the other adult stuff in the show.
Right.
But then, and then high school, I was super promiscuous in high school. And then around 17, 18, I had sex with everybody. I'm at the bus station. All the kids are there. I looked around the room. I go, him, his brother, 4 other people. And I'm like, you know what? Can I do porn? And we're on the bus. We're on a public bus when I said that. And the joke is the kids that were with me when I said it, they're actually kids who bully me regularly. They call me the mattress and turtle and all these weird words. Then all of a sudden, like, no, you can't do porn. Why would you do that? I go, but I'm already having sex with everybody anyway. And we were so loud. The older people started jumping in the conversation. And then by like 2 weeks later, I emailed Vanessa Blue. She told me what to do to get in. And then...
And who is that? Sorry?
Vanessa Blue is one of the big Black female porn stars in the industry.
Oh, okay.
And I sent an email assuming it's a real email to that real person.
Right.
And then she messaged me back. Same thing with Cinnamon Love back then.
Oh, yeah.
Same thing. She was on AOL.
Yeah.
I'm talking to people. You say you're real. At that time, I believed you.
Of course.
Not so much now.
No, God,
now there's a pattern I look for to know if you're real. Versus back then, your email and your name, that's what I believed to be true.
Totally.
And then, so Toronto has the weekly paper of the massage parlors and strip clubs and escort agencies. Then it had this 2 little lines ad for webcam in it. So 18, I couldn't live at home anymore. It was toxic with my parents. My dad was abusive. Then my dad got charged and I'm living downtown. And my mom was working so much that I felt like I'm never going to have groceries. I need to figure this out. And with the Toronto Sun, iWeekly, now Toronto, it always had ads in the back of that paper for massage, strip club, escort agencies, and the 2-line ad of webcam. So I picked webcam. I called it, I didn't want anybody touching me back then. I didn't really want to, even though I was, which is really funny. I was okay doing it when I used to meet people off the internet and they would send me money Western Union before I met them.
Oh my God.
But when I was ready to be a professional, I was like, I'm not working in a strip club or escort agency. I'll do webcam. But luckily the webcam ad.
What was that for though? In terms of what have you ever dissected why that motivation was back in the day?
Well, it's belief systems, whatever belief system I had back then of certain types of sex work were really bad based on my family's belief system and religion.
Gotcha.
And then eventually, 3 years later, that went away. My boyfriend came to me and his hand was broken from his gambling debt. And then I knew me webcamming by myself wasn't enough money to help him. So I went to escort agencies then, and then he got half of my money. Then I realized how many years later, he should have just been a stripper himself. So I was like, the way we learn things and then we look back, I was like, wait a minute, he could have done the same job too. And now Yeah, like if I'm dating someone and they're attractive enough, yeah, put your ass on OnlyFans. Leave me alone. So it's just, and then, so March for me is my anniversary. So March
Oh,
2025 makes 22 years of me working. So this is kind of a really good episode to do. Yeah.
Hells yeah.
It's because I started when I didn't know what a webcam is. And then before we started, I'm fiddling with the webcam because I'm using the wrong one.
The irony.
Yes.
That was off the air, people.
That is the way we evolve and mature and perspective and knowledge and all those things. But yeah, my start started because there was an ad in the paper. I had sex with everybody at my high school and not my high school. I got bored of whatever penis they had to offer. And then, yeah. And then so part of it too, one of the guys I was meeting to have sex with, he took pictures of me. And I was like, well, can I just do porn? Like, it's just, like the way I got clues to do porn from being promiscuous and then me always being on the internet and then realizing it's on the internet now. Okay. Yeah. But the only hard part was I didn't get to LA until I was about 20. And then apparently when I got to LA when I was 20, I was technically too old to start. Even though this is when I'm starting. Like, I'm 20. Like, I'm still fresh meat.
Crazy.
Like, it's, yeah. And then
I'm surprised at that.
Yeah. So it's part, so I was webcamming first, and then the website because porn did a thing where they were shooting HD video on websites, and then they still flew you to LA to shoot scenes. So I had a company that was in my webcam room, and back then they had a regular normal email address. You could email the models. So then he emailed me his information. I didn't reply back on that website. I got the studio I was in, the webcam studio, to call him. And then I talked to him. And then at the time, because of the studio owner being greedy, I didn't do it. But I kept the email. So when I moved out from that studio to go on my own, I contacted that website. And then he flew me to Boston. Then he flew me to LA. Then he came to Toronto. Then he launched my website. So the Minnie Holly website is still there because they own it. But that's me. Wow. That's me in the beginning, skinny Minnie, official. And then that scene, so the scene on there for my DP scene, I pass out from the sex.
Oh my gosh.
Because the intensity of that many orgasms and two people. And the funny thing is, the tapes from that scene, so we split it where half the scenes were his and half the scenes were mine. Okay. And in my episode of bipolar psychosis, I threw out all of my mini DV tapes.
Oh, no.
Where the junk removal people took up a basket. It had the tapes in it. They all were labeled BGG, boy, girl, boy, girl, girl.
All the things.
All the porno names were labeled on it. And I'm like, did they know it says that? But it's and then I can't use that content. I don't have their ID. So
access to it or anything. Yeah.
So me throwing it on my stuff in a junk bin worked out because I can't use the content anyway. But there's images of it. There's clips of it. There's enough of me that you can see the timeline of 18 to 40 because I'm 40 years old now. So it's a little weird because I got fans that are 20 and I get fans who are 60. So I basically get every dude with a brand new credit card looking at me. And then I have fans who are there from the beginning who want to marry me.
Yeah.
So, I love the longevity. I love the longevity of it. But it's like, wait, what? Like, I lived a life. What were you doing? Don't wait for you to show up.
You've been here for a minute. Like, you've been in the industry for such a long time and probably have seen it change a lot. Like, going back to you when you answered that ad for the webcam model, those two lines that were in the back of the paper. What was webcamming like back then? You know, with like a dial-up system and like
it wasn't
the
dial-up
technology
then.
back then. Oh, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so high speed came out
90s.
2002.
Yeah.
My house couldn't get it. The cable company couldn't connect it to my house. So, and then not every house. So like my dad's house had dial up, but my mom's house had high speed because they were divorced.
Okay.
And then my grandma's house had net zero free internet from a CD because my dad didn't want to pay for internet because the internet package my dad had back then,
It was
you bought a
expensive
block
back in
of
the day.
it was, but he bought a
Hella
block of
expensive.
hours of time for
Right.
internet. And I would be up at 3:00 in the morning visiting porn websites and jack up his internet bill to $1,500.
Oh
And then I would be off of the internet because the family computer is in the kitchen. And then my dad's bedroom is above me. So I would hear him wake up, then hear him go into the shower, turn off the computer, and then go to my room and go to bed. So he didn't know what I was doing till he got the internet bill. Yeah.
So you were just surfing porn at this time, or like, because I know you also mentioned like you were working for a webcam studio. Like what did all this stuff look like in the early 2000s? What is my question?
There's still some websites online that still look like 1990.
I was gonna say, I'm like, a lot of those, some of the campsites now, I feel like they look like they haven't changed in 20 years.
Camp Contacts is one of them. They still have the original layout. Chatterbait wasn't Chatterbait before. Chatterbait used to be an independent model directory that had they took my pictures and put it on their website. So yeah, that's why I don't like Chatterbait. Even though they change owners. I know they change owners and stuff like that. But for me, Chatterbait was a place that stole my pictures. So
oh gosh.
And when models talk about how great they make money on Chatterbait, I go, that's great. I'm never gonna work there.
And there's so many platforms out there too. We have options. We have lots of options, which is great in terms of what you're looking for.
We have options, but we also have companies that merged. So like Naked.com, Camster are bought out by Flirt for Free. Flirt for Free is owned by Vivid, StreamA, ICF Technology. Even when the checks, so like my credit report says StreamRate Inc. on my credit report. Because when I was 18, 19, starting as a webcam model, and the house I was living in said, you should apply for credit now. But I'm like, how does that work? So now when I go check my credit report, it still says StreamRate Inc. on my credit report as my employer. And I could change it, but changing it is weird. So the credit bureau company, they make you send in a letter of employment that you're fired before they change it. So I basically need a lawyer to write me a letter that I work for this company. I used to work from this time to this time, dates of when I worked there and didn't work there, to remove it from my credit report. They're not going to. So this is probably a whole episode of how to protect your privacy.
I was going to say, we're going off a little bit too much on a tangent here, so I'm going to steer us right back because I do want to get into talk to you about your disability. I just don't want to distract from that being the focal point of the episode. So, and we haven't even gotten to that part yet. So why don't we talk about like your disability, Minnie, in terms of like how that is intertwined with sex work?
So that it was always there in the sense with my parents' divorce and living with parents that are toxic for each other, but they're trying to work it out for child support and spending time with the kids.
Oh my God, it sounds like my parents.
Yeah, it's just the way that anxiety develops and attachment anxiety develops. It's from me being younger, and then there was a period of time my mom and her siblings, my mom's last of 15. So half her siblings were all living in a house together with me and my sister. And we were under the age of 10, where they didn't know I left the house to go across the street to a neighbor's for 5 hours. Like I left at 4. I went out, went to the neighbor's house. They fed me. I fed the fish. I played with their little toddler kid. I came back home and my family was like, you hungry? Then I had a whole nother meal. And my family had no idea I was gone for 5 hours. Like I don't know. It's this weird thing. Like my parents, I forgive them, but there's pockets of things that they did that affect my trauma where my body relives it all the time. You know how I sweat uncontrollably because I'm nervous. Like that's from back then. As much as I want to change it to something else, No, it takes a while. My body only remembers one thing, and that's how it operates. So with the disability, it was depression, and then I got into the industry, and then I'm working in an environment that wasn't that great, but I was able to work on the websites I want to work with, learn the skill, learn the business. Then I left that person's house, and then he got charged with a crime. So I'm waiting for the court case to process that, and then he died. So I had to process that. So I was always processing something up until 5 years ago. Actually, not really. Wow. It's a relationship. But yeah, pretty much January. I haven't really stopped processing a trauma till January. Because the last 10 years was a bad relationship. So for me, it was half of my adult life, or anywhere. Yeah, after the age of 20 until 40, it's been something where it's depression, bipolar, anxiety, agoraphobia, sleep apnea, ADHD diagnosis, then multiple sclerosis.
All the things. Wow, that's a lot of stuff too.
I got a number of them, not all of them. I don't want all of them, but I do have a number of them. I have enough on my bingo card. I'm okay.
Yeah, like I'm good. I'm good for now.
Yeah. I think I called bingo 3 times. I'm good. I don't need any more. It's just... Yeah.
I mean, I hate to ask the question, but there's so many other people here that, might not be familiar with some of these terms. I mean, I'm not asking you to define it, but what I'm asking right now is, given all of these diagnoses, obviously that can have effect on your ability to work, and work in conventional, I say this like in quote unquotes, that conventional job is like sitting at a desk at 9 to 5 and stuff like that. Folks with ADHD, like work like that's very sedentary. It's like it's not a good match. So I'm asking you about like, what was your experience working at this time? Like, were you working any kind of like conventional jobs, or were you just doing sex work at this time and found that it was like, okay, this works for me. I can build my own schedule. It's flexible, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. So my disability is something that it's just been there all of my life, of dealing with symptoms and traumatic events. And I didn't really get the help I needed until I left home at 18, and then left the webcam studio environment that I was in. And I was still in contact with my parents back then. I was still on my dad's health insurance back then. So when I got my own apartment, and then the job that I got from the job fair fired me like 2 months in, because a customer, so it was a phone company, and some of the customers would call the 1-900 numbers or the night flirt number to reload their account from the telephone. And I was working in that industry at home in my free time, and then a customer calling and trying to deny $3,000 of a phone bill of calling night flirt. I couldn't. I yelled at him. I was like, dude, you call this number for 16 pages on your phone bill. It's you. But I didn't respond to him in a very customer service professional way. And then I got irritated and I pressed hang up. But the minute I pressed hang up, my supervisor was standing behind me.
Oops.
Yes. So here I am, reducing my traumatic trigger of being just triggered in both environments, trying to calm myself down by hanging up on the customer. And then all of a sudden I get this tap.
Oh my God. That must be so unsettling.
And the thing is, the manager at that time was really good about it. He was like, can you stay after time, like a little bit later? I'm like, okay. I didn't know he was. I didn't know when he was there. It's like there was no reflection of him in the computer screen. It was just I thought nobody was behind me. And then I got fired, and then part of it was like, oh crap, I'm fired, and then I'm on welfare because I didn't know about EI, or I didn't qualify for EI, the employment insurance, and then because I had webcamming already there, because I was working 8 hours at work, 2 hours commute there and back. And then I would work almost same amount as 6 to 8 hours a webcam at home. So I had no gap of what do I do until my symptoms of my depression and my bipolar were showing up. And even that, like, I'm telling people I'm not feeling good about what's going, and they're like, oh, you work so much, you'll figure it out. No, your girl is depressed and I think I'm going nuts in my brain. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So luckily, my family doctor, so I found my family doctor the same time of me leaving the studio and then leaving my parents' house. She was good about it. When I told her, I think I had PTSD, she just filled out the questionnaire. And then she said yes. Then she sent the referral. So that was 2004 up until 2008, in and out of treatment and a job and a call center. And then the last job, 2008, was the dating chat line that you see live girls in your neighborhood all the time. Even that, the level of customers that call in denial that you're spending that much money calling the 1-900 number to load up your account. Stop lying. Just admit it. I spent my money on the service. I'm not really happy about it. Can I get a refund? Just be honest.
That's not clarity.
And webcamming sites, we don't deal with the chargebacks. The support does. Like the models don't deal with chargebacks. But since I've had 2 experiences of being in the call center of dealing with customers that try to deny their spending on adult entertainment, to me it's just funny. It's just comical in my head. Because now it's a webcam model, and I'm like, oh, you're having troubles? Yeah. Oh, tech support will help you. Like, that's not my job description. I fully let them know that it's not my job description. Call the number in the account that pops up on your screen. Yeah. They'll help you. They'll help you. But the disability, it was just the level of going through on and off of medication, in and out of depression, then in and out of welfare. Because first it was welfare. Back then it was like $582 a month. And my rent was $699 up to $725. Because when I moved into this apartment, my rent was $725. And then disability, when I got on, it was $1,069. And then I balanced between getting my stripper license and escorting and massage parlors, working a strip club back then. If you mentioned you had a webcam site, the girls hated you. Because they're like, back then it's not as inclusive as it is now. Back then it was like, what do you mean you make money online and I'm busting my ass at the club?
That still happens now, though.
I don't have to worry about the struggles you have.
Is still alive and well.
Yeah, I know there's still systemic cultural issues in our industry that have not disappeared. And then the racism. I always had to deal with, oh, we have too many Black girls working at this club, or you could work the opposite shift of the other Black girl, or Black girls don't make any money. I go, but I make all the money on webcam. Like, what do you mean? Or when I went from escorting with an agency to independent, and I made $5,000 a month by myself. That was mine, that my cats rolled in my bed. Like, I put the money on the bed and the cats rolled on it. Yeah, and they're telling me, oh, Black girls don't make any money. Like, even now, it's really weird where after the pandemic or during the pandemic, escort agency tried to reach out to me and apologize for me telling them about a racist experience I was having. And they only did it to absolve their white privilege guilt. Had nothing to do with me, because in the moment I was telling you this person's making me feel uncomfortable for the color of my skin, you did nothing. All you did is reduce the calls of bookings for me to make me feel crazy. Like when I use the word crazy, it's when I felt like the current reality does not want me to exist. And the only other reality is not this one, which I live across the cemetery. Put the pieces together. Because they did. Some agencies put me in I'm working in their location. They say to be there for 9, stay there for 9, 12 hours. They claim nobody wants me because I'm a Black girl, but they wouldn't let me leave. So which one is it? And I would yell at them to the point I would go in psychotic break, where a couple of agencies, they sent me to the psych hospital. They sent me to get a psych evaluation. The level of stress that they put me under is the reason I have bipolar disorder. Like, there's no doubt in my mind at all for that. And then getting out of it, it's webcam. Webcam saved my life. Like a DJ. Like that, like, and the challenges we have of competition is not nice when someone else is struggling and then you go with your advice, well, maybe you should quit.
Right.
Are you paying the bills of me quitting? Because there are a lot. So it's this weird combination of, yes, I survived through it. I document almost all of it. And then I pick myself up like a cockroach and I keep going. Like, because I have to. Like, and I'm spoiled. I don't want to work outside the house. I haven't been outside the house for a job since 2008. And then when I did try to work at the elections because it's a seasonal job, I couldn't do it. Like, I thought it would be the most simplest job ever. Seasonal, only work during the election season to set up the booth and the voting and make sure they get through the machine to count the votes.
Was it just because like the work wasn't resonating with you, or is it just like not enjoyable work, or just like your brain is like, no?
It was physically demanding. It's the physical demanding. So with the disability and the symptoms I have, where I get swollen ankles and swollen feet and I get tired, and then my medications interact with each other, and I'm always running to the bathroom. Like the way the employment law is right now, you don't get a break till after 5 hours.
After 5 hours.
Like legally in the law, it says that. And while if I'm home, I'm in the bathroom every 2 hours if I have to. Like, it's just, that's it. I mean, I can hold it a little bit for a private chat, but that's it. The minute that customer is done and he climax and he's out of the room, I'm gone. I'm offline. 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever I need, go to the bathroom, get back online. So the disability is just, I just learned to wiggle it into the day between doctor's appointments or medications or mood. And now that the sleep apnea machine for my sleep breathing disorder, there's more energy.
Yeah, it's,
which is great,
it's a lot
but
of
I have to pace
juggling. It
myself.
sounds like a lot of juggling that you have to do, and in terms of like navigating and see how this fits into your life. And I think like sex work is an answer for so many people because, again, it awards the flexibility and the comfort of being in your own home for certain types of sex work, specifically with camming, just makes it a lot, I don't want to say easier, but a lot more comfortable, And
it's adaptable. So like, yes, I have my webcam platforms I work with for almost 22 years in total for all 4 websites. But then there's the crossover, like Minnie St. my YouTube channel and my Instagram. And now I'm talking in different podcasts for different topics. And I can make affiliate marketing income for different companies that are not porn related at all. That's a level of freedom that 9-to-5 working people still think the internet is a scam. So when my first paycheck came to me in a mailbox in 2004 by Stream8 Inc. on the check, and then try to figure out how to cash it at a bank or Money Mart so I can get groceries. But people still think the internet making money is a scam. And it's with the employment agency. I want to update my resume, and all my resume now is all sex work for 22 years. My employment counselor, she's awesome. She's like, we'll figure it out. Don't worry. We'll figure out how to wiggle it into your resume. But then when a different counselor in that agency, I told her I want to focus on my online business. She's like, what? Like those pyramid things? I go, no, those are illegal. Like, people still think what we do is against the law when we legally have to file taxes on every penny that comes our way to the US and Canada because of W-8-BEN tax form that I really don't like. Because there's a tax treaty between Canada and the US for taxes, and then I have to convert it from US dollars to Canadian dollars and make sure it fits on the right tax form or T2125 tax form and keep all the receipts for 7 years because the government said so. That process I broke down, and you're going to tell me what we do is not real? Go gaslight somebody else.
Hi, it's Carly David, founder of PS Group, marketing agency for sex workers by sex workers. We're here to give you the tools you need to stand out. From slick websites to next-level marketing strategies, we want to turn your fans into loyal customers. Our fees are project-based. No commissions, no percentages. We believe you should keep the rewards of your hard work. So if you're serious about taking your brand to the next level, visit us at sexworkmarketing.com. Say hello. We'd love to talk to you.
I mean, like, going back to, like, you know, you mentioned a bit, like, in terms of like what you earned from disability benefits and stuff now. Has that changed over the years at all? Has that been adjusted, or like, and for those who are listening, we're talking in the Canadian context here because we're both Canadian based creators, but like, I'd love to hear, like, has that shifted with like the rising cost of living and inflation and the economy or anything like that, or is it around the same?
So 2004, I'm on welfare. Welfare is called Ontario Works for where I am in Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
It's $733. So it only went up by 233 over 21 years.
20 years. Wow.
Yeah. And then
Wild.
Ontario Disability Support Program, 2011, it was $1,069. Today, it's $1,368, but it goes up with inflation in July. So,
but that's not
basic
a lot.
math.
Yeah.
No, it's not. And then
Oh my gosh.
with Ontario Disability Support Program, you can apply for special diet, you can apply for medical transportation.
Mm-hmm.
So my total check amount is $1,739, but then they take back $79.15 for an overpayment because of more money I got during the pandemic. And the way they balance their books, they have to make sure that what they gave me is less than what I was getting somewhere else. And then I get like $17.59, but then if I make money and report it to them so as creators and content creators, as webcam models, we have gross income, and it's not the calculation you see in your website. Some websites will say gross income, then net income. That's not our true net income. That's still our gross income because we're Canadian.
Right.
Then it goes into your e-wallet, whatever the company you're using, CosmoPay, Paxum, crypto, whatever, and they convert it to Canadian. That's still not your net income because we have business expenses.
Yes.
Our wigs, our makeup, our internet,
Everything.
Nails done, lingerie, whatever high heel shoes you squeeze on to show on webcam. Then whatever's left over from spending on business purposes only is your net income. Then I report that to the disability office. If it's over $100, they add $100 called work-related benefit. So then my total amount becomes $1,839, but they still take back the $79.15 for the overpayment. So I get about 17 something in it. And then it goes up with inflation in July by like $60. That pays for me all my rent, my hydro, and I squeezed it now. Insurance. So tenant insurance, critical illness insurance, health insurance, and almost 2 weeks of groceries for $150 a week of groceries.
Wow.
But that's because my current living expenses, where I am in market rent control apartment for 17 years.
Wow. Lucky.
Exactly.
Definitely
and
lucky.
if I had to move because my landlord got greedy or they bought the building for some developer, the average rent is $2,500.
Yep. Yeah. So I was like, that's like, yeah, that sounds like Toronto.
That's just rent. That's just
rent.
$2,500. I'm not even talking about Vancouver or Montreal or somewhere else.
You don't want to talk to me about the rent
No.
here in Vancouver. It's like absolutely bonkers. But yeah, so like, I mean, thank you so much for that super detailed breakdown because I feel like people think like sex workers, oh my gosh, you make so much money, but like
I have, but I also push my mental health. Any of the times I made more than $5,000 in a month, I end up in the hospital for a psych evaluation. So I'm juggling a healthy work hours and making the income I want to make. Plus, right, it's an opportunity. A lot of cam models are struggling right now. And because I have a long history and long customer base, if I work really a normal 40-hour work week, I can outpace earning what they're struggling to earn. because of my customers. Like, yes, being an older cam model with that much history and that much customer base and recognition, yeah, I could make bank if I try. Yes, I'm well aware.
Yeah.
There's some cam models out there like, oh, you don't really work that much. Well, you're not dealing with the mental illness and other stuff on top of it.
Yeah.
With also,
yeah.
the industry is very ableist. I can't just go on webcam and show my disability. I have to hide it. I hide it with my wigs. I hide it with my makeup. I hide it with my lingerie. I hide it in the way I talk to my customers. I hide it in how I present myself on camera. I like, even if there's a customer in my room that says, oh, I have MS too. Yes, that's great. We have a conversation, but I don't want to talk about my personal stuff with my customers.
Yeah.
I need them in the room billing at $9.99 a minute so I make money. And then each website takes their percentage. So we have to make sure they're spending money so we live our lifestyles after we're done. And that's the thing about the non-sex worker community doesn't understand. They think I show up the way I am right now in our recording, but no, I don't. Like, I have to figure out what lipsticks to buy from Shoppers Drug Mart and lace front wigs, try to watch YouTube videos, how to put it on, and then get my body done. Like, plastic surgery now has to be an option because I look like a mom boobs and I never had children before. I don't want to be in the category of MILF when I'm cougar.
Right.
It's a whole different vibe. Like, I don't need a customer coming in my room asking if I have milk. There's no milk anywhere because there's no babies. I shut down Baby Factory in 2017. Like, all the lifestyle choices I made as my legal name versus my performer name, you're always juggling two personalities where I think I talk to myself now in the third person all the time. Even though it's just me, like Jimmy on Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Which I call it my Microsoft Copilot, Jimmy. But I also realized Jimmy's also on Seinfeld when he talked to himself in the third person. Yeah, our job, we talk to ourselves in the third person, even though it's it's us.
It's still you, yeah, for sure. I mean, let's like emphasize that juggling part too, because like, you know, I think a lot of sex workers also can struggle with this too, in terms of like, you know, balancing the personas between like your real self and your online persona or whatever stage name or whatever character you're putting out there. But on top of that, again, there's just the layer of disability that comes into the conversation too. And you were talking about, you know, your working hours and we're talking about flexibility and stuff like that. Like, I'm just wondering, like, how are you able to juggle all this and stay sane, but also keep in the mentality that you have to make money and survive, but also being true to yourself as well? There's just like a lot of things going on there.
So I had to let go of everyone else's expectations. The industry, my parents, my family, my sister that doesn't talk to me, the boyfriends I get jealous, I make too more money than them, or they don't like my disability. It's not about you. Like, even other models in the industry, and they contact me, and I'm trying to share what's going on with me, and they give me the advice that I should quit. Again, not about you.
Yeah.
Like, me quitting gives you think an opportunity to make more money, but not really. Like, because the amount of breaks I've taken, hiatus I've taken, and I come back and I post screenshots, I made $500 or I made $1,000. Yeah, I'm a badass bitch. I know. The level of you have to walk with that to work is all, because it's most of us that know other cam models, we only know their persona.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. Yes.
We only know when I post content. We only know when I do a live stream. We only know when I'm on this podcast right now. Not one of you have been here with me at brunch. We never went to brunch. We never had mimosas. You never been my wing girl to go pick up a guy that I like at the bar. Like, so Minnie St. Clair is a solo act. And that, like, so then I have to do everything that takes care of me. My legal name first, then we throw in Minnie St. Clair first.
Second.
Even now, my parents, my mom knows Minnie. Before, she called me the name she gave me. So now it's a nice introduction of, I tell my family I'm professionally known as Minnie St. Clair. Great. Then they know when I do the podcast or work and all those things, that's what it's for. And the only other person that gets it and teaches it is RuPaul Drag Race.
Yes.
When you actually pay attention to RuPaul's Drag Race and the cast members, and when they're in the workroom and they're getting ready, it's like being a webcam model. It's exactly.
Yeah, totally. That's such a good metaphor.
It took me a long time to figure out what we were doing and why I felt so isolated and struggling and like it's just me. No, drag queens go through the same struggle we go through too. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay, then what would RuPaul do? Then I would play his music, or I listen to his interview, or I watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch where he plays the hairdresser, and I get into the zone and I do my work. Mm-hmm. And then at that point, it's just you and your customers. It's not like, unless you work with another model, making content and collaboration is different. Right. For the most part, most of us are solo creators by ourselves, talking to a computer and a customer that may or may not show his face.
Yes.
And that's it. Mm-hmm. And for a long time, I had a customer, M1 Golf, who became M2 Golf, depending on which website I was on. I don't see him anymore. He's 60 years old when I met him when I was 18. Mm-hmm. I'm 40 now. I have not seen that username anywhere. And don't go try to use that username, because there's a certain way I used to talk to him and a certain way he used to talk to me. And he ended up being my sugar daddy when I found out what city he lived in, because he used to visit me when I was in a strip club. Mm-hmm. And when he visited me in the strip club, he could never talk to me in a conversation. But he would go home and send me a long ass email that should have been our conversation.
That's so interesting.
Because it's 22 years of the industry, and I'm the first Black female in this industry, and the stuff I had to learn and figure out and not break rules on websites and like set my boundaries with customers and understand the relationship I have with the campsites is a business relationship, and it's my job to honor that business relationship. This is why I big up every website I work on, because I value everything they do. But other cam models are talking ish about websites. Go get a regular job if you don't like them. Honestly, because they spend millions of dollars to keep your job operational so you can work from home and create the lifestyle that you desire. Mm-hmm. Because you work 20 hours or 40 hours a week on their website. Mm-hmm. And then every website has a contest of make a lot of money so you can win a lot of money.
Yeah.
That is the most simplest thing to do. Mm-hmm. And then honestly, you don't need to watch another model's room. Mm-hmm. It's you and the customer, and you do what you're comfortable with. If a customer asks you to do something and you're not comfortable with it, or it's against the rules, you stay within the rules. You stay within the actual contract that you signed and gave up your ID to sign that contract.
Yeah. So I'm hearing a lot of like mindset and boundaries, which is what works for you in terms of like staying really sane and really resilient in this industry, which I think is so key. Because, you mentioned isolation too. And I think, we've talked about this a whole bunch on the show as well, but this job can be very isolating, especially when you're going through multiple things. There's so many different intersectionalities there with sex work, race, also talking about your disability that also comes into play as well. Quickly, before we kind of start to close things off a little bit, we didn't get a chance to talk about it earlier when it made a bit more sense, but talking about the double stigma when it comes to sex work and disability, I would just love to cover that as well, if we can quickly go into that.
So yeah, sex work, regular people think I have sex all day. No,
yes,
I don't. Because when I had the boyfriend that wanted to have sex all the time, I couldn't. I'd fall asleep and he would get uncomfortable about it. And then with the disability, there's 5 different kinds of disability. There's episodic, there's sensory issues, there's ADHD, there's learning disabilities. And a lot of them have different impairments that either work with you or work against you. And then you're expected to fit into the expectations of being an adult pretty early. Even if you have your disability younger, as like growing up in your childhood, the expectation that you're supposed to perform like you don't have your disability is always there, because the way our society is with how they treat disability in the medical model, and then now we're trying to migrate to the social model. where disability is an everybody issue, how the same way sex worker rights for decriminalization, they like it's a good idea for everybody involved. Like if sex workers are able to work safely, we're able to report crimes properly, and we're able to identify people properly for misconduct and being a customer. It's the same thing with disability, where we need, like if I go to an event and the washrooms are like too far away, or I have to go upstairs and down a hallway or down the basement or something. You know how much extra planning I have to go do if I go to a space where the washroom is around the corner down the bush versus it being near like a certain exit or a certain window.
Yeah.
Or I can plan how many times I go to the bathroom before I leave my house. Or on the plane, I can actually buy the bigger space ticket seat on the plane so I'm comfortable and I don't have to worry about certain things. We need both of them to remember these are people's choices and we need to be able to do them safely as adults.
Yeah.
And again, remember that certain things are only for adults. That was the whole point of When I Grow Up. It's like we forgot. Like, when I grow up, I want this. When I grow up, I want that. We're grown now. I want those things.
Yeah.
And if I want to have 600 cookies and ruin my dinner, I'm going to have 600 cookies and ruin my dinner. Because I'm an adult. I can ruin my dinner. Like that. So and then we need to talk to the people who actually are affected by those things. The nothing about us without us. It's both sides. It's disability and sex work that have that movement philosophy phrase, and we're both left out of conversations of making policy around both.
Yeah.
And then if you're a sex worker with a disability, you might, certain spaces will listen to you, other spaces won't. And it's this navigating of, I have voices that need to be heard. And depending on how you present as in that room, they'll listen to you or they won't listen to you.
Right. No, that's really important for you to say that. And unfortunately, it's like reality for so many folks. I mean, in your experience, to kind of wrap up this conversation too, like, have you personally felt that there have been more accommodations for you as a person that has multiple disabilities, as a sex worker, or is there still lots of room to grow?
Not in the webcam industry. I like, because we're presented as a fantasy.
Right.
But when I'm not Minnie St. okay, I can talk about it all I want because I need to. But if I'm in an environment of XBiz or AVN or any of those environments, I can't talk about it unless it's a fetish.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
there's like no middle ground there.
I can only talk about my disability in sex work if it's a way of make money with the fetish. I'm not trying to do that either. Like, I just need a website that adapts the contest's requirement schedule of hours to be more realistic. That's all. Like, I'm like, because for webcam sites that have a contest, some of them require you to work 90 hours in a month.
Yeah, which is
or
crazy.
They reward you for working 400 hours in a month.
That's
like, they literally give you a digital badge because you work 400 hours on their platform. And then I would click how many like, they have stats of how many models accomplish that goal. And after 100 hours, it gets down to about 67 people accomplish the goal of working 400 hours on that website.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's super unrealistic.
I can't fathom that.
When we know with Twitch streamers and other content creators that they've died for streaming on their websites too long because they didn't go to the bathroom, they didn't eat, they didn't take care of their basic needs, and they passed away on their live stream. I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah.
I want to be able to show up to my customer tomorrow when he gets paid at midnight to get his money. That's what I'm trying to work out, this pay schedule of all my customers to be the first thing they purchase as the reggae song "Just Got Money and Got Paid."
Well, it's interesting though, because like the narrative that like a lot of maybe platforms are just always trying to push us to do more longer hours, obviously with the potential of making more money, but that can be a little bit dangerous too in terms of like, that being unhealthy, or can get to an unhealthy point, which I would love to discuss that in a future episode because I feel that is a thing that not only sex work camming platforms, but I'm also just talking about streaming platforms in general. But another topic for another day. We have we just don't have enough time to talk about that today, though. But any closing notes that you want to share with us, Minnie, before we start plugging all your platforms or where we can find you and all that stuff?
I've clearly described that my journey to being a cam model is a messy, messy journey. Mm-hmm. I turned my mess into a message. Mm-hmm. Because I had to, if I want to stay relevant and current and keep my Minnie St. brand as my brand and my name, I had to embrace the suck and then turn it into dollars. Plus, jobs didn't really like the fact that they found me naked on the internet because I got fired for those jobs. Mm-hmm. So I had to make this environment the best adaptable environment for me, because that's who they're coming to see first. And then, support people along the way when it's safe to do so. So like other cam models that reach out to me for support and guidance and advice. Yes, I can. But a lot of it, you have to figure it on your own. And it's just because internationally where I am, resources I know is specifically majority for Canada. If someone's in another country, I used to have someone from South Africa reach out to me. Yeah, I can help you with some things, but you have to figure out what's available for you and your country, where you are. Region. Like when Americans talk about tax season and 1099s, that's great, but there's Canadians on your website. We need advice too for taxes and tax planning. And I wish more of the events were blended of global information instead of just only American information. Because the Canadian sex worker organizations, I need to know my online landscape, what my risks are, and what I should worry about, and not go spend money on a lawyer to go find it, because the Canadian organizations are not staying up to date with the age verifications or Pornhub's court case or all the things that are create for digital creators and digital content creators. And also, you don't have to carry the label sex work if it's uncomfortable for you, if it makes you feel unsafe. That is a label that was labeled by other people. That's not mine. Mm-hmm. So that's why I close out with that.
Cool. Lots of stuff to dissect there too, but we just don't have enough time. I wish we had more time, Minnie, though.
I know.
I could talk to you forever.
And I'm trying to stay on topic and not go on a tangent. Yes.
No, it's all good. You did such an amazing job. But before we let you go, where can we all find you?
So Twitter, I'm trying to squeeze all the information in 140 tweets. So Minnie on Cam. Then my YouTube, Minnie on Cam. TikTok is Minnie on Cam. I think Instagram is on Cam Minnie. But either way, Minnie on Cam, you'll find me.
Perfect. We have all those links in the show notes below. So everyone, do your homework. Go ahead, click and give a follow. I'm sure Minnie would love to hear from you to talk about, her story, how much it might have resonated with you, or if you just want to connect. If you want to connect with myself, you can do so on X, which is Stripped by Sia, or on Instagram, which is Stripped by Sia Podcast. Again, my Patreon, if you want to support financially, it's patreon.com/strippedbysia. And if you yourself want to be on the show, you're more than welcome to pitch yourself on strippedbysia.com, my website. There is a contact form that you can fill out. And I would love to hear from you. I've been getting a lot of really, really interesting, cool pitch ideas and topics that I'm hoping to, debut in the next season. I feel like we're way overdue for next season, but I would love to hear from you. And don't forget to like and rate 5 stars on Apple and Spotify. Do your homework. That just really helps a lot of listeners find us. Same with some other sex workers or folks that are wanting to get in the industry that want to do their research. So you can do that. And it is new episodes every single Sunday, launching at midnight Pacific Standard Time. And we'll catch you all in for another episode next Sunday. Thank you so much, Minnie, for joining us. I'm glad we're finally able to connect today. Thanks for sharing your story.
Yeah, I'm very happy about it.
Thank you. And new episode next week, everyone. Take care. And you're listening to Stripped by Sia, hosted, produced, and edited by Steph Sia. Music by Ted D. Graphic design by Maria Bellandarama, and photography by Ian Jabrin.